The richest person I know drives a 2008 Honda Civic with a dent in the door. The brokest person I know drives a brand new Mercedes with a payment he can barely afford. One of them has $2 million in investments. The other, negative $30,000 in net worth. Guess which one shows up on Instagram more? Here's the question that should keep you up at night. Why are you working so hard to look rich instead of actually becoming rich? What if every dollar you spend impressing strangers is literally stealing from your future? Because it is. And I'm going to prove it with math, so simple, it'll make you angry you didn't see it sooner. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why frugal spending is the most underrated wealth-building strategy on the planet. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to show you the exact calculation of how a $5 daily habit either makes you a millionaire or keeps you broke for life. If you've ever felt judged for driving an old car or not buying the latest phone, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and comment "wealthy in secret." Let's start with the secret advantage nobody talks about. Number 1, the invisibility advantage. Wealth loves silence. Everyone's trying to look rich, post the vacation, flex the designer bag, show off the new car, tag the expensive restaurant, let everyone know you're winning. Here's what kills me about this. You're out here performing wealth for an audience that's also performing wealth. It's a theater production where everyone's faking it and nobody's actually making it. You're all on stage pretending to be successful while your bank accounts are screaming for help backstage. The loudest wealth is almost always the fakest wealth. I see it everywhere. People are posting their success on Instagram while living paycheck to paycheck. A luxury car in the driveway, but I can't afford an oil change. Designer clothes on their back, credit cards maxed out in their wallet. Bottle service at the club on Friday, ramen noodles on Monday. And everyone's judging everyone else based on appearances. Must be nice to afford that. Wow, they're really doing well. Meanwhile, the person you're envying is one missed paycheck away from eviction. There's this verse in the Bible that most people miss the point of. Matthew chapter 6, verse 3. When you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Now, most sermons focus on humility and charity. And sure, that's part of it. But here's the deeper principle that applies to everything, including money. Real power operates in silence. The Bible talks about these religious leaders called Pharisees, who would pray loudly on street corners. They wanted everyone to see how holy they were. Look at me praying. Look how righteous I am. And Jesus said they already had their reward, the attention and admiration of strangers. But the people who prayed quietly in private where nobody could see them, they received the real reward. Strip away the religious language and you've got a financial principle that's been true for 2,000 years. The moment you need people to know about your wealth, you've already lost the game. Frugal spending makes you invisible. And invisibility is the greatest advantage you can have in building wealth. Nobody knows you're accumulating money. No jealousy, no pressure to spend, no expectations, no family members suddenly needing a loan, no friends expecting you to pick up the tab because you can afford it. No keeping up with anyone because nobody knows there's anything to keep up with. You're running a race where nobody realizes you're winning until you cross the finish line so far ahead they can't even see you anymore. While everyone else is distracted by the performance, posting, flexing, comparing, you're quietly building an empire that nobody sees coming. They're exhausted from maintaining appearances. You're compounding wealth in complete silence. Here's what I want you to do. And it's going to feel weird at first because we've been conditioned to show off everything. Stop posting your purchases on social media. Just stop. That new thing you bought? Keep it to yourself. Drive the paid-off car instead of the impressive one. Wear comfortable clothes instead of the branded ones. Save your flexing for your net worth statement. That's the only audience that matters. Your brokerage account doesn't care about your Instagram followers. Your retirement fund doesn't need likes. Your financial freedom doesn't require anyone's approval. There's this story I love about a millionaire who walked into an expensive restaurant wearing old jeans and a plain t-shirt. The waiter took one look at him and treated him terribly, seated him in the back, ignored him, made assumptions. The man didn't say anything, just ordered his food, ate in peace. When the bill came, $500, he paid in cash without blinking, left a 50% tip, walked out. Later that week, the waiter found out through a regular customer that the man he'd dismissed was worth hundreds of millions. And you know what? The man didn't care. He wasn't there to impress the waiter. He was there to eat dinner. Real wealth doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need witnesses. It just exists, quietly growing while everyone else is performing. Wealth whispers. Insecurity screams. And the less you look like money, the more of it you probably have. The person driving the 10-year-old Corolla might have $2 million in investments. The person in the leased BMW might have $20 until payday. Appearances lie, balance sheets don't. But that's just the obvious part. What I'm about to say is what makes the difference, because invisibility is just the beginning. There's something more powerful happening every single time you choose frugality over flash. And most people never realize they're building an army. Number 2, every dollar not spent is a soldier fighting for you. And here's what that army looks like. You're bleeding money right now. Little cuts everywhere. $8 lunch that becomes $200 a month. $15 subscription you forgot you signed up for 6 months ago. $50 impulse purchase at Target because you went in for paper towels and came out with a cart full of things you didn't know existed 10 minutes ago. Target is literally designed to attack your wallet. It's not a store. It's a battlefield where your money goes to die. You walk in for milk. You leave $90 poorer with decorative candles, a throw pillow you don't need, and something called a bath bomb that you're not even sure what to do with. Here's what most people don't understand. These aren't just expenses. They're soldiers. You're soldiers. And you're sending them to fight for the enemy. Every dollar you spend on stuff that doesn't matter is a soldier you just handed to someone else's army. Amazon's army, Target's army, Starbucks' army. And those companies are getting rich off your soldiers while you're wondering why you can't get ahead. There was this Roman emperor named Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world at the time. He could have anything: golden toilets, exotic animals, palaces that would make modern billionaires jealous. And you know what he wrote in his personal journal that nobody was supposed to read? Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Think about that. The Emperor of Rome, the guy who actually could afford everything, chose to live simply. Plain food, simple clothes, basic pleasures. His philosophy was this: every unnecessary thing you own actually owns a piece of you. The more you need, the less free you are. Every possession is a chain. Fast forward 2,000 years, and we've completely forgotten this. We think freedom is having more stuff. Marcus understood that freedom means needing less stuff. Here's how you need to start thinking about money. Every dollar you don't spend is a soldier that joins your army. And that soldier doesn't just stand there. It goes to work for you, fights for you, builds wealth for you while you sleep. Let me show you the math that'll change everything. $5 saved and invested at an 8% annual return for 30 years becomes $50. Doesn't sound like much, right? But now think about this. 1,000 of those $5 decisions over your lifetime, that's $50,000. Your daily latte isn't just $5, it's $50 of future wealth you're trading for 10 minutes of caffeine and the feeling of treating yourself. Every single day, you're making these trades, and most people are trading their financial freedom for temporary comfort without even realizing it. Here's what I want you to start doing. The 24-hour rule. Before any non-essential purchase, wait 24 hours. That's it. Just wait one day. Don't tell yourself no. Just tell yourself, not yet. And while you're waiting, ask yourself 3 questions. Will I care about this thing in a week? In a month? In a year? If the answer to any of those is no, you just saved money and recruited another soldier for your army. Here's the power question that'll save you thousands. Is this $100 item worth $1,000 in retirement? Because that's the trade you're making. Thanks to compound interest, every $100 you spend today costs you roughly $1,000 in the future. Still want it? Start thinking of your money as soldiers. Track your soldier count. Every dollar saved is one more warrior in your wealth army. And here's the beautiful part. These soldiers multiply. They recruit more soldiers. Compound interest means your army doesn't just grow, it explodes. There are these two friends I know. Both make $60,000 a year. Same job, same city, same age. One of them spends freely. New phone every year. Eats out constantly, always buying something. And he's stressed about money every single day. The other one lives frugally. Old phone that still works. Cooks at home. Only buys what he needs. Friends call him cheap. Family thinks he's weird. 15 years later, the first friend is still living paycheck to paycheck. Still stressed, still broke, still working. The cheap friend retired at 45 with $800,000 invested. When someone asked him how he did it, he said something that shut everyone up. I wasn't cheap, I was building an army. Every dollar you spent on impressing people was a soldier I recruited for my freedom. You gave your soldiers away. I kept mine. Every dollar you don't spend on garbage today is a soldier fighting for your freedom tomorrow. Build your army in silence while everyone else is spending theirs on an audience that doesn't care. Wait, there's something you need to pay attention to if you don't want to lose everything, because there's one specific expense that people defend with their lives, and it's quietly destroying their chance at wealth, $5 at a time. Number 3, the $5 coffee principle. Small leaks sink great ships. And that expense, it's the one everyone defends like their life depends on it. It's just $5. I deserve a treat. It's not that much. You can't expect me to never enjoy anything. Look, I get it. I'm not here to be the fun police. But let me show you some math that's gonna hurt, and then you can decide if that coffee is worth what it's actually costing you. $5 a day for coffee. Reasonable, right? That's $1,825 a year. Still doesn't sound too bad. I mean, it's only $5. What's $5? Here's what $5 actually is. Invested at 8% return over 30 years, that daily $5 coffee becomes $224,000. Over 40 years, $518,000. You're not buying coffee. You're trading $500,000 for the privilege of saying you deserve a treat. Let that sink in for a second. Every single workday morning, you're walking into Starbucks and lighting $5 on fire. Except it's not $5, it's $50 of future wealth, and you're doing it 20 times a month. Every month. For decades. That's not treating yourself. That's betraying your future self. Benjamin Franklin figured this out 250 years ago. He said, "Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship." Think about that metaphor. A massive ship, built to cross oceans, survive storms, and carry precious cargo. It doesn't sink because of a cannonball. It sinks because there's a tiny leak in the hull that nobody pays attention to. Water drips in, slow, steady, harmless looking, until one day the ship is at the bottom of the ocean and everyone's shocked. How did this happen? It was such a strong ship. The leak, always the leak. Franklin obsessed over tracking every penny he spent. Not because he was cheap, because he studied people who went broke. And you know what he found? They didn't have financial disasters. They didn't make one huge mistake. They had tiny leaks. The shilling here, the pence are there. The it's just purchases that added up to a sinking ship. He understood something that modern people refuse to accept. Compound destruction is just as powerful as compound interest. Just like small investments build massive wealth over time, small wastes destroy massive wealth over time. You think you're being smart by avoiding big purchases. I didn't buy the expensive car. I'm being responsible. Meanwhile, you're bleeding $5 here, $15 there, $8 over there, and wondering why you're still broke. Death by 1,000 cuts costs more than one big wound because you don't notice you're bleeding until you're already empty. Here's what I want you to do tonight. Audit your subscriptions. Every single one. Netflix, Spotify, that gym you haven't been to in 6 months, the meal kit service you forgot to cancel, the app you downloaded once and never used. Add them up. Now multiply by 12. That's your annual leak. Now calculate what that would become invested over 20 years. I'll wait while you pick your jaw up off the floor. Next, track your coffee and lunch spending for 1 week. Just 1 week. Don't change your behavior. Just write it down. I guarantee you'll be horrified. Here's the alternative that sounds boring but builds wealth. Make coffee at home. Costs about 50 cents a cup. Same caffeine, same morning ritual. Savings? $4.50 a day. Over 20 years invested at 8%, $98,550. Buy a $200 espresso machine once. Save $200,000 over a lifetime. That's not frugality. That's just basic math that somehow everyone ignores. There's this woman who stopped buying her daily $6 latte and started making coffee at home. Her friends mocked her relentlessly. You're being ridiculous over $6. Live a little. 25 years later, she retired early. Those daily $6 lattes invested instead added an extra $180,000 to her retirement account. Her friends are still working, still buying lattes, still broke, still mocking people who deprive themselves. And when one of them asked her at her retirement party, "How'd you do it?" she smiled and said, "I wasn't ridiculous. You were just too expensive to understand the math." Small leaks sink great ships. Your daily coffee, your lunch out, your impulse purchases, your forgotten subscriptions, they're leaks. And your ship is sinking while you're standing on deck, wondering why you're not getting anywhere. But that's just the surface. What's behind it is what will startle people, because the coffee isn't the real problem. The real problem is something deeper, something we've been trained to reject since childhood. And it's the dividing line between people who build wealth and people who stay broke forever. Number 4, delayed gratification equals compound freedom. And that dividing line is your ability to wait. We live in an I want it now culture. Buy now, pay later, same-day shipping, 2-hour delivery. Instant gratification is literally the business model of the entire economy. You want it, you get it, right now, this second. And you've been trained, programmed really to believe that waiting is suffering, that if you want something and don't get it immediately, you're depriving yourself. You're missing out. Life's too short. You deserve it now, so you buy it now and suffer later. Here's what kills me. You financed a couch. You're paying interest on something your butt sits on. Future you is sending money every month to pay for past you's inability to wait 6 months and buy it with cash. There's this famous experiment they did at Stanford back in the 1960s, the marshmallow experiment. They put a kid in a room with 1 marshmallow and gave them a choice. Eat it now or wait 15 minutes and get 2 marshmallows. Some kids grabbed that marshmallow immediately, couldn't wait 5 seconds. Others sat there, tortured, staring at it, but they waited. 15 minutes of suffering for double the reward. Here's where it gets interesting. Researchers followed these kids for 30 years, tracked their lives, their careers, their finances, their health. And you know what they found? The kids who waited, who had delayed gratification, had higher SAT scores, better jobs, more wealth, healthier lives, better relationships, basically better everything. The kids who grabbed the marshmallow immediately, they felt satisfied for about 30 seconds. The kids who waited, they built a skill that made them successful for 30 years. 1 marshmallow now or 2 marshmallows later isn't about marshmallows. It's about understanding that the future you is a real person who's going to have to live with the consequences of the present you's decisions. And right now, present you is screwing over future you daily. Every frugal choice you make is practicing delayed gratification. Don't buying the new car now equals $500,000 in net worth at retirement. Doesn't upgrading the phone equal $15,000 saved over 10 years? Doesn't eating out 5 times a week equal 50,000 in an investment account? You're trading 15 minutes of marshmallow pleasure for 30 years of marshmallow abundance. But you have to be willing to wait. And waiting feels like a punishment in a culture addicted to instant. Here's the practice that'll change your financial life. I call it delayed purchase gratification. You want something? Great. Wait 30 days. Put it on a list. Revisit it in 30 days. Still want it? Wait another 30 days. 80% of the time, and I've tested this with hundreds of people, 80% of the time, you'll completely forget you even wanted it. The desire was temporary. The purchase would have been permanent. The regret would have been expensive. Every delayed purchase is a test. Can you wait? Can you be uncomfortable? Can you sit with wanting something and not immediately satisfying that want? Pass enough of these tests and you win financial freedom. Fail them and you stay broke forever, surrounded by stuff you bought to fill a void that stuff can never fill. There's this teenager who wanted a $1,200 gaming setup, top of the line everything. He begged his dad. His dad made him a deal. Wait 1 year, save your money, I'll match whatever you save, and you can buy it in cash. The kid waited, saved. It was torture. All his friends had the setup. He had to use the old console. The cheap headphones. He felt like he was missing out every single day. 1 year later, he had $1,200 saved. His dad matched it. $2,400 to spend. He walked into the store ready to buy everything. And then something crazy happened. He looked at that gaming setup and thought, do I really want to trade $2,400 for this? What else could I do with this money? He walked out without buying anything, invested the full $2,400 instead. Now he's 25 years old. That money's grown to $8,000, and he still talks about it as the best purchase he never made. I learned that wanting something and needing to have it immediately are two completely different things, he told me. Waiting taught me the difference, and that difference made me wealthy. Delayed gratification isn't about never getting what you want. It's about wanting better things than temporary pleasure. It's about understanding that freedom beats fleeting every single time. The marshmallow is always there. The question is whether you can wait for two. It sounds simple, but the hardest part is what's about to be told next. Because even if you master delayed gratification, there's one thing people misjudge more than anything else, and it's costing them millions without them ever realizing it. Number 5, the millionaire next door drives a 15-year-old car. And that thing people misjudge? It's what rich people actually look like. You think rich people drive Lamborghinis and live in mansions. You think they're wearing Rolexes and carrying Louis Vuitton bags. You think wealth looks like a lifestyle magazine. Real millionaires? They're driving the paid-off Honda Accord, living in the 30-year-old house they bought decades ago, wearing the $15 t-shirt from Costco, shopping at the same grocery store as everyone else. And nobody has any idea they're millionaires because they look completely, utterly, boringly average. Here's the fun part. The guy with the Lamborghini? He's either a billionaire or he's drowning in debt. And I'll give you the odds. It's a 90-10 split. Guess which way? There was this massive study done called the Millionaire Next Door. Researchers studied over 10,000 millionaires across America. They wanted to know, what do rich people actually do? How do they actually live? What do they actually look like? And the findings shocked everyone. Because it turns out millionaires don't look like millionaires. They drive used cars. Average age of their vehicles? 6 years or older. Some drivers' cars are over 15 years old. Not because they can't afford new ones. Because new cars are financial suicide dressed up as success. They live in modest houses, not the biggest house on the block. Usually the same house they bought 20 or 30 years ago. Paid off, no mortgage, while their neighbors upgrade every 5 years and restart the 30-year debt clock. They buy their clothes on sale, discount stores, last season's styles, nobody's impressed, nobody cares. And that's exactly the point. The most surprising finding? They didn't become millionaires despite their frugality. They became millionaires because of it. The study found that high-income earners living luxury lifestyles had low net worth. They looked rich but were functionally broke. Meanwhile, middle-income people living frugally were secretly millionaires. They looked average but were financially free. Same country, same economy, same opportunities, opposite results. The only difference? One group spent to look wealthy. The other group aimed to be wealthy. Here's what rich people understand that broke people don't. Cars depreciate, houses need constant maintenance, fancy stuff breaks and needs replacing. None of it builds wealth. All of it destroys wealth. They'd rather have $2 million in index funds quietly compounding than a $200,000 car sitting in the driveway losing value every single day. A new car makes you feel rich for about 6 months. Then it's just your car, but you're still making payments on it for 6 years. That feeling of new car smell costs you $60,000 plus interest. A paid-off used car makes you actually rich for decades. Gets you to work the same as a luxury car. Maybe the seats aren't heated, maybe the sound system isn't premium, but it's paid for. And paid for equals freedom. Let me show you the real cost of looking rich. New car, $40,000. $600 a month payment for 6 years. Higher insurance because it's worth more. And depreciation eats 20% the moment you drive it off the lot. Used car, $15,000. 0 monthly payment because you bought it in cash. Lower insurance. Slower depreciation because it already took the biggest hit. Difference over 10 years? Over $100,000. Invested at 8%? That's $150,000 in wealth that the new car buyer just set on fire to feel fancy at stoplights. The Honda Civic gets you to work. The BMW gets you to work. They both have 4 wheels and an engine. One of them buys you retirement 10 years early. The other buys you the approval of people you don't even like. There's this CEO I know. The company is worth $30 million. Guy's personal net worth is probably 8 figures. Drives a 20-year-old Subaru that looks like it's survived multiple wars. Dents everywhere. Paint fading, interior worn. A journalist once asked him why. You could afford any car on the planet. Why are you driving that? His answer shut down the entire conversation. This car runs perfectly. Gets me from point A to point B without any issues. Why would I replace something that works just to impress people I don't know? I'd rather impress my accountant with my net worth than impress strangers at stoplights with a car payment. The car you drive tells strangers how you want to be seen. The car you don't buy tells your bank account how free you want to be. Rich people made a choice. Look rich or be rich. You can't have both, at least not at the start. Maybe later, after you've won the game. But not now. Not when you're still building. They chose freedom. You're choosing appearance and wondering why they're ahead. Wait, the most important part is in the following story, because everything we've talked about, invisibility, soldiers, coffee, waiting, cars, all of it points to one final truth that changes everything about what wealth actually means. Number 6, frugality buys time, the ultimate wealth. And that final truth is this: money is just a tool. Time is the actual prize. You can always make more money, work more hours, get a second job, start a side hustle. There's no ceiling on money if you're willing to grind for it. But time? You can't make more time. You get roughly 70 to 80 years if you're lucky. That's it. No extensions, no do-overs, no earning extra decades by working weekends. And here's what kills me. Every dollar you waste on stuff you don't need is time you have to spend at a job earning it back. You worked 2 hours to afford those shoes you'll wear twice. Congratulations. You just traded 2 hours of your life, time you'll never get back, for foot decoration. Was it worth it? Because those 2 hours are gone forever. You can't unbuy the shoes and get your life back. There was this Roman philosopher named Seneca who wrote an essay called On the Shortness of Life 2,000 years ago. And it's still the most brutal truth anyone's ever written about time and money. He said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." People spend money carelessly, which means they have to work longer to replace it, which means they have less life. Frugal people need less money, which means they can work less, which means they have more life. The math is simple, but nobody wants to do it. If you need $100,000 a year to maintain your lifestyle, you're going to work until you're 70, maybe longer. If you need $40,000 a year, you could retire at 50, maybe earlier. Every unnecessary expense adds years to your prison sentence, and most people are serving life sentences for crimes they committed at the mall. The Romans understood this. Seneca was talking to wealthy Romans who had everything: villas, servants, exotic foods, entertainment, and they were still miserable, still working, still stressed, still never having enough time. He told them, "Your lifestyle is a prison. Every unnecessary thing you own requires time to earn, time to maintain, and time to worry about. The man who needs nothing is free. The man who needs everything is a slave." Fast forward 2,000 years, nothing's changed. We're all slaves to our lifestyles, except now we call it the American dream, and finance it at 18% interest. Here's the calculation that'll change how you see every purchase for the rest of your life. It's called your freedom number. Take your annual expenses and multiply by 25. That's how much you need invested to retire using the 4% rule. If you spend $100,000 a year, your freedom number is 2.5 million. That's how much you need before you can stop working. But here's the magic. Reduce your annual spending by 10,000, just 10, and your freedom number drops by 250,000. You just cut years off your working life by learning to need less. Every dollar you cut from your lifestyle is $25 less you need to retire. Every subscription you cancel brings freedom closer. Every frugal choice is literally buying back years of your life. This isn't about the money, it's about the decades. How many years of your life are you willing to trade for a lifestyle that doesn't even make you happy? I know this teacher who has worked for 40 years. Good job, decent salary, retired at 65 with a pension, living comfortably, no complaints. I also know a plumber who lived so frugally that his family thought he was struggling. Drove an old truck, lived in a small house, never took vacations. But he invested aggressively, lived on 30% of his income, invested the rest. He retired at 48. The teacher heard about it and said, "Wow, you're so lucky." The plumber looked at him and said something that cut deep. "Luck? I chose freedom over furniture. I chose time over trends. You chose comfort over decades. We both made choices. I just chose better. You got the pension? I got 17 extra years of life." 17 years. Think about that. 17 years of not having to work, of doing whatever he wants, of spending time with grandkids, of pursuing hobbies, of actually living instead of just surviving until the weekend. All because he understood that frugality doesn't buy you things. It buys you time. And time is the only currency that actually matters. Every dollar you spend on impressing people is a day you have to work. Every dollar you save is a day closer to freedom. Your lifestyle is either extending your prison sentence or shortening it. Most people spend their entire lives working to pay for stuff they don't need, to impress people they don't like, to maintain a lifestyle that's slowly killing them. The frugal people, they're living, actually living, while everyone else is just affording to exist. Do you see anything unusual? The answer is right here. Everything I just told you comes down to one simple choice: performance or peace, appearance or freedom, looking rich or being rich. You can't have both, not at first. Maybe someday, after you've won. But right now, you have to choose. And that choice is determining the next 40 years of your life. So here's what nobody tells you about wealth. It's built in secret. The richest people don't look rich. They look normal, boring, sometimes downright cheap. And that's exactly the point. Here's the math I promised you. $5 a day. Coffee, lunch, whatever. Spend it, $0 in 40 years, plus temporary pleasure. Invest it, $518,000 plus permanent freedom. That's not a coffee. That's a choice between retiring early or working until you die. Frugal spending isn't about deprivation. It's about priorities. You can have the performance or you can have the peace. You cannot have both. Most people choose to look rich and feel broke. The wise choose to look broke and be rich. Cut one expense this week, just one. Redirect it to investments. Don't change everything. Change one thing, then compound it. If you're ready to stop performing wealth and start building it in secret, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Comment "wealthy in secret" and tell me, what's one frugal choice you made that everyone judged you for? The richest person I know still drives that dented Honda Civic, and he doesn't care what you think, because while you're impressed by appearances, he's impressed by his net worth. Frugality makes you wealthy in secret. And secret wealth is the best kind because it's real.